Verse 14 here of the 16th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. We're at the incident that took place at Caesarea Philippi, in which Jesus solicits from his disciples opinions, public opinions, as to who Jesus might be. Jesus, of course, asks the question framed in terms of who do people say that the Son of Man is, which manifestly is referring to Jesus, but also is an allusion to that character who had his own identity from Old Testament, especially from Daniel, and so he puts the question to them using that particular title, and then the responses we get here. So hoi, this is the article, sometimes stands as a pronoun, and then it's rendered they, so that's what we have here. So this is hoi, they say, but they said, this is referring to the disciples responding to the question now that Jesus has put to them. Hoi, and again the same thing, this is being used, the article, as a pronoun. It's a little bit idiomatic here. They, on the one hand, men, ionein, implied in that is they say, or there are some who say, and it's kind of put in a contracted form. So some say, ionein, John, ton baptistain, John the Baptist. Some say you're John the Baptist. Of course, John the Baptist had been beheaded by this time. We know that Herod Antipas, probably filled with some degree of superstition, thought maybe that John the Baptist had come back. It may have been a thought in other minds as well. Aloi, this is others, and a pronoun, others, but Elion, Elijah. Elijah famously didn't die in the Old Testament, was taken up into a chariot, and some thought that he was still out there, kind of in orbit, and was going to respond. And of course Malachi, the last book of the Old Testament, specifically predicted that Elijah would come back and kind of straighten things out. Jesus identifies Elijah with John the Baptist, but nevertheless, in the popular opinion, there were those who thought Elijah was going to come back, and maybe that was the identity of Jesus. Heteroi, others, so some say this, others, Jeremion, Jeremiah. Jeremiah, according to 2 Maccabees, had hidden the ark before Jerusalem fell to Nebuchadnezzar, and then another apocryphal book, 2nd Esdras, had predicted that Jeremiah was going to come back and basically point out where the ark was hidden. And so some thought that maybe Jesus was in fact Jeremiah, who was going to come back and disclose the location of the Ark of the Covenant. A, conjunction, or, hina, one, adjective, tone, propheton, of the prophets, one of the other prophets, possibly with their own lore. So of course these are all high compliments, not high enough in terms of Jesus' actual identity, but represent at least the popular mood that Jesus was some kind of significant person. Nobody of these opinions was saying that Jesus is the Christ. It's going to be Peter who will make that confession soon enough, but these all represent rather lavish expressions of praise for Jesus. Of course, from a New Testament point of view, they fall infinitely short of the actual proper affirmation that he's nothing less than God among us, but at this point we're not quite reaching that level of faith vision of who Jesus actually was.